What view will Eberechi Eze be enjoying during the rest of the season? A view from the Tottenham training ground?
I think quite possibly, Jeff, a view from that magnificent Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. I was there on Saturday as they opened up with a comfortable win over an albeit poor Burnley side. But I think this one will develop. I think Spurs are probably going to have to pay a bit more than Daniel Levy ideally wanted to, but they're not going to meet the £68 million release clause that expired on Friday. I think a deal of nearer £60 million will probably get this one done. Credit to Eze, because we've spoken a lot this summer about players throwing their toys out the pram, Ali McCoy style, likes of Johan Wissa and Alexander Isak. But Eze turned up on Sunday, scored a goal, which a lot of people think was harshly ruled out for offside, and he'll play again for Palace in their Conference League playoff on Thursday if the deal is not done. But I think ultimately we'll end up at Spurs, and I think it could be a really good signing for Thomas Frank.
Crookie, what a blow that would be. Obviously losing Eze would be bad enough. They can't lose a centre-back as well then, can they? I mean, if you're a Palace fan, you're in seventh heaven in the last 2 or 3 months, that's for sure, because they're a good watch. Not only are they difficult to beat, they've got some fantastic attacking players. If they lost Eze and Guehi, that would be a savage blow, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I was told a few weeks ago that they would only let one go this summer. I think ideally it would have been Guehi, because obviously he's out of contract at the end of the season, and there's a very big risk that he leaves on a free transfer, because certainly I don't see him putting pen to paper on a new deal. But I think if Eze goes, that would just strengthen their resolve to get top dollar for Guehi. We know Liverpool have held talks, but last I heard the two clubs were some way away in terms of a valuation. Newcastle, who tried to sign him obviously a year ago, have gone down a different route. So I don't think there's loads of options for Guehi. Liverpool will keep trying to get this deal done. But at the moment, I would probably err on the side of him being more likely to stay than follow Eze out the door.
Crookie, Alejandro Garnacho, once again not in the Argentina squad for the next couple of World Cup qualifiers. Is there any progress on that move that's been touted to Chelsea?
I think we're getting there. Obviously, again, Manchester United was still asking for £50 million. Chelsea not willing to pay that for a player who clearly has no future under Ruben Amorim. Wasn't in the squad again at the weekend. I looked in the director's box where a lot of the players who weren't picked was situated. Rasmus Højlund was in there, Andre Nana as well. No sign of Alejandro Garnacho and that bleached blonde hair. I know he's told friends that he expects to join Chelsea. I'm going to write about that on my notebook, which will be out on the talkSPORT website later today. So I think this deal will happen, but I'm fascinated to see where the two clubs come to a compromise in terms of the transfer fee.
What about last night's game, Crookie? I was talking, obviously, Jeff, we were talking about it all morning. Great 3 points for Leeds, but I thought both sides look as though they might have problems in front of goal.
Yeah, I agree. Obviously, David Moyes has voiced his frustration when it comes to what Everton have done in the transfer market. They did back him in the sort of week leading up to the season. Jack Grealish able to come on and make a cameo last night. Kiernan Dewsbury Hall as well. But I think you're right. It's the top end of the pitch where they're in need of a bit of support. I know they're quite excited about the signing of Tieno Barry, but obviously players coming from abroad can take time to adapt in the Premier League. And Leeds as well, it was quite attritional for them, wasn't it? I think they did deserve to win the game, but certainly weren't as impressive as Sunderland were against West Ham at the weekend. Noah Okafor, a player they're trying to sign from Milan. Looks like that one will happen for around about €20 million. He's set to undergo a medical, so that will bolster their attack, which is something Daniel Farke has been crying out for.
A word on Savinho, Crookie, because Pep says he wants to trim his squad down, but apparently he doesn't want Savinho to be one of those who leaves.
No, I think he's one that Pep wants to keep. I reported this last night. My information is that Pep Guardiola has told Savinho that he won't be allowed to go this window. He's another player that the Tottenham have looked at, although I think it would take a club record fee in terms of what Spurs would pay in excess of the 65 million they spent on Dominic Solanke to even get Manchester City to the negotiating table. But I think there are other players in that squad that Pep would rather go first. That might be a frustration to Savinho because he's by no means a guaranteed starter, is he?
No, not a guaranteed starter. That is for sure. I mean, who is at City these days?
I don't know.
Apart from Haaland and Reinders, maybe.
There's a lot of people just thinking about the contradiction in terms of Pep saying his squad's too big, needs to get rid of a few of them. But I get it. Savinho, I think, gives him some difference as well, so I can understand that, Jeff.
Crookie, thanks very much.
talkSPORT Breakfast, waking you up Monday to Friday morning from 6 a.m. on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.